Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the Racco Strength and Fitness Podcast, the Johnny Unitas episode. Today I'd like to talk about a specific training tool that I believe may be a bit misunderstood. That tool is the foam roller. Foam rollers, or the people who make them and sell them, offer some pretty fantastic claims about what a simple tool can do for your training, your recovery, and your overall health and quality of life. Almost so fantastic that it seems too good to be true. Maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. What I'd like to do in this video is go claim by claim and talk about whether there's any credibility behind them, or if you were just duped into buying a human rolling pin. Let's take a look. I want to start off with a big one. First of all, do you even know what a muscular or fibrous adhesion is? Or have you just been force-fed another fitness buzzword like muscle confusion, toning, or circuit training that you don't necessarily fully understand? If this is the case, don't feel bad. These buzzwords are purposely supposed to intrigue your interest so you'll buy into a product that you don't necessarily need or understand. Adhesions are hard fibrous tissues that form when our soft tissues have been damaged. You've probably heard them referred to as scar tissue. It takes a lot of significant damage to create scar tissue, and it takes an equally traumatic experience to get rid of it. Scar tissue can only be removed through surgical intervention, and foam rolling absolutely does not break up adhesions or scar tissue. In fact, it doesn't remodel any tissue for that matter. It takes an incredible amount of force to break up or physically change our soft tissue, which, if I'm being honest, is not all that soft. Think about it. We lift very heavy weights, much heavier than any sort of normal day-to-day activity, to try to remodel our bodies. It takes a pretty significant force just to break our skin. If foam rolling could break up scar tissue as it claims, then placing a barbell on your back with 100 pounds for a set of squats would absolutely shred the soft tissue in your back and shoulders. Give your body a little more credit. It's strong and resilient. I have also heard this stated as foam rolling makes muscles longer, which is making the same claim, just using different words. Here's the thing. I've talked about my views on flexibility before and how I believe it to be an overrated and potentially dangerous practice if overdone. I prefer my clients to work more towards mobility as opposed to flexibility. Remember, every single one of our muscles has a specific origin and insertion, and these points do not change, which means our muscles are one length. They cannot be lengthened or shortened. They can only contract eccentrically and concentrically. Now, it's our muscles' job to move us by connecting two different bones of the skeleton, and sometimes more. We call these points between bones joints. In order to improve our mobility, we need to get our bodies and muscles used to and strong enough to move throughout a full and complete range of motion. We do this by practicing movements like the squat, hinge, push, pull, and press, not by rolling on a piece of foam. In fact, just the opposite is true. It has been shown that if you're keen on including foam rolling into your training, you're better off using it as a cool-down method or to help facilitate recovery after training rather than before. A proper warm-up should include movements that prepare you for the day's training and should elevate your body's core temperature. Foam rolling does neither. Foam rolling your quads and hamstrings in no way prepares you to hold and move 100 pounds when performing a squat or deadlift. In fact, you aren't even mimicking the movements necessary to prepare your body for the training. Foam rolling as a warm-up was incorrectly used by trainers when they associated its ability to improve mobility for the short term and felt it could be beneficial pre-training. And this is just not true. What it can do, however, by rolling an area trained either that day or the day before, it can help facilitate blood flow to the recovering area. This will allow for more nutrients and oxygen to be transported to the trained or damaged tissue, as well as debris to be cleared out. So we talked about flexibility earlier in the video. And remember, flexibility and mobility are not the same thing. Foam rolling does seem to improve mobility. However, it appears to only be a short-term effect. Let me give you an example I'm pretty sure we've all experienced. As children, we've all fallen down and bumped or bruised our knee. And what's our first reaction to getting a bump or bruise? We want to rub it to make it feel better. But why does this seemingly oversimple action comfort us and make us feel better? Well, without getting overly technical, our body has neurological pathways designed for specific sensations. It just so happens that pain, or bumping your knee, and rough touch, rubbing it, occupy the same pathways. This means that the body has trouble comprehending both sensations at the same time, and will more likely focus on the more extreme one, or the one that is occurring at this particular moment. Foam rolling is the same as rubbing that bumped knee. Because it's a rough and generally painful practice, especially now that we seem to want to add giant knobs to our rollers to increase our pain, it occupies those same neural pathways that tell your body when a muscle is being lengthened and pulled too much. Because the body is unable to compute this at that very moment, our mobility does appear to increase. However, does it last? If you've been foam rolling for weeks now after training, has your mobility improved? Or do you still need to roll before seeing any mobility improvement? If this is the case, maybe it's time to reassess our rolling habit. That's all for me, everyone. I hope you were able to learn something that you'll be able to apply in your future training. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more training content in the future. Happy training, everyone, and remember, grab the bull by the tusks.